Hello, John Talley here with Partzilla.com. Today, we're going to be swapping out the fuel pump on our 2008 Yamaha Raider. Now, I'm already assuming that you went through all your troubleshooting procedures and you know that your pump needs to be replaced. Now, it's not that tough to get to. Of course, it's under the seat and we need to pull a couple of brackets, remove the hoses, take off the bolts, and then it'll pull straight out. So if you're ready, I'll walk you through the process. So let's go. All right, guys, this is what we're going to be going after. Now, there's really not a choice as to whether you go aftermarket or OEM. Definitely go with the OEM. But also make sure that you order the gaskets that go on the top and under it, just to make sure it gets a good seal. So, let me get the seat up out of the way and we'll get this replaced. Cover, and what we're after is right over there. But word to the wise here, since we are opening up the fuel system, let's go ahead and disconnect the battery just to make sure. Just the negative side. All right, let's remove this retaining clip. There we go. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and pull these two rubber caps. And we're going to turn off the valves that go to the fuel tank. And to do that, they're all the way out, so we just want to screw them all the way in and lightly seat them. Okay, let's go ahead and remove that bracket. I'm not sure if we're going to have to pull this side panel or not, but it's no big deal. It's only a couple of screws. Some additional wiring somebody decided to add in. Oh, good grief. I don't know what this is, but I'm probably going to take it off. It drives me nuts. I don't know. We'll swing back around to that later. Let's try to stay focused here. Now, I'm assuming you already did the troubleshooting procedure and you know that your pump needs to be replaced. What should you have looked for? Well, when you turn on the key, you should hear it prime up. Now, if it's got voltage and you don't hear it prime, it's going to be your pump. Let's grab that lower retention pin for the fuel line, push it through. It's just pushing really hard against the tank. Tell you what. Snap that cable. Well, this bracket must go further down than it's letting me believe. So let's disconnect it from that bracket since it's holding on to it so viciously. There. Oh yeah, that bracket goes down to another part of the frame. So yeah, they wasn't going to release, but it's going to need to. So we do need to go ahead and pull that side panel. And that's going to be a security Torx T30 in the back and just a regular 4mm hex up in here. And I believe that's going to be where that other bracket was going as well. And it was. So now we can remove it. Yeah, that lower bracket, that's where this actually connects into it. You couldn't see that from the top. All right, our creative wiring here, or not ours, somebody's. As you can tell by my tone, I'm not a real fan. That's nothing but a big fire hazard in my world. I mean, come on. Big pet peeve of mine. Okay, guys, rant over. Let's keep going. All right, we're going to undo our power connection. Just push in and up. There we go. Now, release that catch. Now for the send, this may be a little bit tricky to do because we really need to push in that gray section on both sides and lift. Yeah, just one. There we go. Now, all right, this clamp, it may look like one that you've seen on like a CV axle on a side-by-side or an ATV, where normally you would have to cut it off and then re-crimp a new one. This one's designed to where if you bring it in and bring it up, it should release and be reused. There we go. Got you that time. All right, see how that was hooked over that edge? All I did was release it. Squeezed it together and just pulled it up a little bit to get it to release. The other one's much simpler. You can just squeeze it with your fingers and slide it off. And let's get that vent line out of the way. That way we can swing everything clear, because we're going to need all the room that's available to get this out. Now we have some room. Other thing we're going to do real quick is just wipe some of this down so we make sure none of that falls into the tank when we wiggle it out. So now we have just a few 4mm Allens to get out. All right, guys, before we pull this out, notice the orientation, and you really can't make the mistake as long as you get that particular holder in place, because it has this little notch here for that. So just keep in mind and remember that the fuel line going in is going to be on that side of the machine. Okay, let's get our retention ring off. There we go. There's that upper seal I was talking about. There will be an O-ring under it as well. There we go. So that's the magic orientation for it to come out. Yeah, while we've got it here, carefully clean off that edge without pushing any dirt down into it. While it's opened up, let's take a peek in there with a flashlight. Make sure there's no debris that needs to be extracted. A little bit. So we're going to have to do something about that, folks. I mean, it's not horrible, but we're right here. Let's go ahead and extract that out of there. And she will be completely empty of fuel when this is done. Okay, now I feel better. So let's get our new O-ring / seal on. Let's get her wiggled back in there. Connector facing out or toward the right. Barely clears that. There. Now we need to rotate to about right there. And I am replacing the upper seal as well. And of course, the orientation needs to be with that gap going right there. All right. Now let's get some bolts back in. We're going to get them all started, and then we're going to bring them down in a crisscross pattern until they're all seated. This one under the frame, so I'm having to use a regular Allen. All right, let's connect up some hoses. All right, you should click. There we go. And I did a oops there. This is supposed to go under. All right, this is that compression type clip that holds it in place. Now we're going to go ahead and try to reuse this one because it does not look damaged at all to me. Just that easy. Don't forget your clamp. Go ahead and get that on. Before we do that, let's get this holder in place. There we go. Guys, I'd mentioned earlier about testing the pump. Let me show you how to do that real quick. I'm going to go ahead and reconnect the battery, and then I'm going to show you with a test light which wire is going to be on when the fuel pump is supposed to prime. Should be that one right there. And it'll stay on for about 2 or 3 seconds and then shut off. Yep. And she's done. So, since we've got that connected, let's go ahead and tighten it down. Always put a little bit more with a socket, personal preference. With all that connected, we can go ahead and release our valves for the fuel tank. Just unscrew them till they bottom out, or top out as it is. Plug this in. We'll leave that vent off for a little bit longer till we get those different plates in place. I believe she went something like this. And we had a couple of caps. Let's put our latch back together. Don't forget this little plate that goes in there as well. Let's go ahead and at least temporarily bolt it in place, then get to that bracket. All right, the first bolt, it actually has the nut on the back side. And the other one you have to put on yourself. All right, that should do it. All right, now, get you back in there. We've got that vent we disconnected on the side. All right, zip tie. I probably should have put this on before. Remember earlier I broke my other one. Just thread it in up top. There we go. Now the trick is we can just back that off a little bit, lay it up in there. Now we need to get the old cable removed from the original side cover. I'm using a pick tool just to line up that end, the cable end. Now it'll lift out. Now, there we go. Just for fun. Yep, that's what I wanted to see, that little latch retracting. So we're good. Didn't want to just pop the seat on and go, oops. Well, all right, guys, that's going to wrap up this little project, although I probably need to put some fuel in it before I go for a ride. Well, listen, if you need any of these parts or anything else for your machine, why don't you come see us at Partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. If you have any questions or comments about this video, leave them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. And hey, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you can keep up with whatever I'm working on next. We just want to say thank you for shopping here with us at Partzilla. We will see you in the next video. Y'all have a good day.